Good morning. How is everybody this morning? Good? Thumbs up? Awesome. It's a beautiful Father's Day. It's nice to see so many men here today. Ladies, they have us totally outnumbered. That's amazing. And we still have one coming too. So, well, it's a wonderful Father's Day, and we welcome you as we come together to start worship. I don't think we have any announcements, right? We're going to move straight through. I'm not used to this 30-minute thing. Got to get George in place. Thank you for being our reader today, George. I get my 6 feet in here. When the earth is in turmoil and nothing looks possible.
You are God, just you.
When temporal equality is a distant dream and love an empty promise.
You are God, just you.
When our livelihood seems threatened by the past or the future.
You are God, just you.
We are thankful that you are God, just you, not us. Andrew? You gotta come this way and go around. There we go. I know we have a few people to lift in prayer. We want to lift Pastor Al in prayer today at the loss of her daughter. We want to remember that we said the wrong name last week, and it's not Corey who's been having struggles. It's Caleb. And what was that? Yes, Corey's brother, Caleb, Pastor Corey's brother, and he is being transferred, right? So prayers for him as he continues his recovery. Also, we need to lift Emily in prayer. She has her surgery for her back stimulator. What day? The trial one. Right, Tuesday. So it's just the trial one, and they're hoping it works so that they can do the permanent one, and she can have some relief from that pain from her accident that was way too long ago for her to still have pain. So pray for that to work and for things to go well for that. Are there others that we need to be lifting up?
My daughter-in-law got news that radiation chemo were all done a couple months ago, and now she has a lesion on her liver.
Oh my goodness.
Pray that treated only my liver, so no surgery, no chemo. So pray for her.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and this is something that will probably show up now and then. Just be in prayer for cancer and continue to.
So prayers for Missy and for her liver as she continues to recover and do well. Hopefully we're all rooting for her. Yes, and for Ann's son, whose heart is hurting also. So prayers for their family. Are there others to lift? Let's be a people of prayer today. Loving God, you have so graced us with one another. And even in these days when we can't get as close as we'd like to get, we know that we indeed are so blessed by one another. We're blessed to see each other today. We're blessed to join from home if those who are joining from home hopefully are healthy and joining us in love and care from where they are. We pray for those who are ill. We especially lift up Caleb as he recovers. We especially lift up Missy and her recovery today. And Lord, we pray for all those who are hoping for relief, and we especially lift up Emily as we think of those who still need relief. We ask, Lord, that you be with those who have lost loved ones, and in this time of COVID, that is so much harder And so we pray and continue to pray for our brothers and sisters in our congregation and community who've lost loved ones. And this week, we especially remember Pastor Al, and we ask that you give your comfort and your peace to the whole family, and also, Lord, to all of those who are hearing us out there, who are fighting a fight we don't know about or that we haven't had shared, but we know that you hear all of our prayers, whether we say them aloud or whether they stay in our hearts, whether they're said in worship or whether they're said quietly at home. Lord, you hear them all. And we ask that you just take all of our prayers and make them precious in your hearing. As we pray together softly, our Fathers, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Oh, it seems like it's been Father Abraham and our Father God in our reading today.
I often try to remember where it's at and forget that it's actually in Genesis, but this has to do with when Abraham and Sarah had Isaac, and having to do with the other son that God granted Abraham through his servant Hagar. What is it? Anyway. Hagar, there it is. Anyhow, this is starting at chapter 8, Genesis 21, chapter 8 through 21. The child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the day that Isaac was weaned. But Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, playing with her son Isaac. So she said to Abraham, "Cast out this slave woman and her son, for the son of this slave woman shall not inherit along with my son Isaac." The matter was very distressing to Abraham on account of his son. But God said to Abraham, "Do not be distressed because of the boy and because of your slave woman. Whatever Sarah says to you, do as she tells you. For it is through Isaac that offspring shall be named for you. As for the son of the slave woman, I will make a nation of him also, because he is your offspring." So Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water, gave it to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder along with the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered about in the wilderness of Beersheba. When the water in the skin was gone, she cast the child under one of the bushes. Then she went and sat down opposite him a good way off, about the distance of a bow shot. For she said, "Do not let me look on the death of the child." And as she sat opposite him, she lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the boy. And the angel of God called to Hagar from heaven and said to her, "What troubles you, Hagar? Do not be afraid, for God has heard the voice of the boy where he is. Come, lift up the boy and hold him fast in your hand, for I will make a great nation of him." Then God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. She went and filled the skin with water and gave the boy a drink. God was with the boy, and he grew up. He lived in the wilderness. He became an expert with the bow. He lived in the wilderness of Paran, and his mother got a wife for him from the land of Egypt. This is the reading of God.
sort of a strange text for today, isn't it? We have a Father's Day text that tells the story of a father sending his son out into the wilderness. That's rough, isn't it? It's an awful story of what a father can do, but it's also a story that gives us hope and joy, because no matter how biblical a person is, and I mean how biblical, I mean Father Abraham, he is called, right? No matter how biblical, no matter how great, every father is prone to do something awful every once in a while when raising children. How many of you have made a mistake raising children? Some of you maybe just don't have kids because I didn't see everybody's hand up. But if Father Abraham can drive his firstborn son out into the wilderness and somehow be forgiven, maybe some of us still have hope, right? Because we all make mistakes. But this isn't a story of how awful fathering is. It's a story of how God's promises can never be stolen or taken, even when we do something that seems awful. God's promises to our children remain steadfast. So many times I hear parents who lament and hold on to how awful they feel about some moment they had with their child. For years and years and years and years, people hold on to their regret and their frustrations and their anger to themselves for making a mistake that all of us just admitted to making. It turns out we're not going to be the perfect parent, but our kids already have the perfect parent. And we worry too much because nothing's going to steal God's promises. On the other hand, we're in the midst of a 21-day challenge. Some of you said you had a little trouble finding it. It is on our church Facebook page that we are running the daily challenges for the 21-day challenge. And I've seen a few of your faces or your comments or likes on there, so I know a few of you are following. But as we go through this challenge of trying to figure out who we are as people who sometimes are in a position of authority over others, whether we like it or not, whether we asked for it or not, we remember God's mercy to Hagar in this reading. We remember that mercy comes from a person who is in authority. And so the first step is acknowledging our authority in our relationships. Strangely, we all have authority in our relationships. There's not usually a dictatorship in a relationship, but everyone has a little bit of authority one way or another. So understanding and acknowledging the authority we have is the only way that we can find space to show mercy to one another and love to one another in those wilderness places we find ourselves in. It turns out we all end up wandering in the wilderness at some point in time. Someone always will drive us to the edges. And finding mercy is a beautiful and amazing thing in those moments. We've all needed mercy, haven't we? We've all needed someone to say, you don't deserve this, let me help you. Also, in these wilderness times, we admit that we are able to give mercy in ways we haven't noticed yet. Sharing power with the powerless, people who are working during COVID How many of you have heard people being angry and mean during this time? No? Okay, because I get it every time I walk into a store. There's somebody upset about something, right? There are so many people who are just so upset and so angry and so mean sometimes. And they're the ones who have power. The workers don't. They don't have power over the company they work for. Wouldn't that be amazing? If we all had power over our bosses? No, it doesn't work that way. But sometimes we can use the power we have to be abusive and to be angry and to not show mercy when Lord knows we can. Single mothers, kids, people of color, all of the amazing people that God loves just as much as us, sometimes we have some bit of authority over. Whether it's something that we get by station, because maybe we're the boss, or maybe we're in that kind of a position where we're the one in charge. Or maybe it's something given to us by society. Because some people are just treated differently than other people. People who are younger are treated differently than people who are older, and sometimes that goes in favor of the younger one and sometimes in favor of the older one, right? It just depends on the situation. But sometimes we have the power. Are we choosing to show mercy in the times when we're able to? My second language is German, and in German, there's two different ways to address people: formally and respectfully, and then there's a more familiar way to address a person. And when you start off talking with someone and getting to know someone, you have to address them very formally, because that's what's appropriate. But there comes a time in your relationship when you can say to that other person, "Darf ich bitte Ihnen duzen?" Can I call you du instead of Sie? Can I address you as an equal instead of formally? And that's the moment when the dynamic of your relationship changes into something much more full and much more equal and not as distant and informal. It's the non-6 feet kind of relationship when you change that word. We don't do that in English. But can you imagine how it would go down if we did? Because it would be very clear to everyone, this person is the one who's in charge. This is the person who's in authority. This is the person who is less. But sometimes, not very often, but sometimes the person in authority can be the one to ask the question. And then it's such a beautiful phrase, because that person is already able to use an informal tone. The one who's in authority can still say du. The one who's not has to say sie. But if the one in authority says, can I just be informal with you? It's a mercy that people appreciate deeply. Because then someone knows that you really, truly look at them as valuable and as equal. In our world, there are spaces where we need to be people of familiarity so that we can be people of equality. It's hard to treat with equality that which we are not familiar with. And so, way too often, we're not asking that question, "Darf ich bitte Ihnen duzen?" Can I call you my equal? And instead, we continue to perpetuate the environment that we live in, and we use that as our excuse. You know what? It's okay because society tells us that's okay. Parents have authority over their children. So I can make a decision that my kids don't like, and it's fine. Sometimes that's important and healthy for your kids, right? Eat your broccoli. But sometimes it can be a stick that we swing with our children, with our community, with people who we think of as not as important as us. How can we say to this world as Christians, as parents who know who our Father is, how can we say what God has said to Ishmael and Hagar? I will not steal the promise I made to you. We are brothers and sisters and siblings in Christ, wherever we are, whatever we look like, whatever our age and shape and gender and bias, whatever that might be, we are still beloved people of God. And God's promise to us doesn't fail just because our promise to each other does. That's what this story tells us today. But maybe, just maybe, God gives us the opportunity to not let our promises fail with one another. It's okay to say to somebody, you know what? I'm really sorry that I took advantage of our relationship. I'm going to try not to do that again. I'm really sorry that when I said something, it was not said in love. And I don't want to be that person. It's okay to apologize to the clerk at the store when you get a little short. It's okay to apologize to your children when you get a little short. It's okay to understand that we are going to make mistakes as people. But what a gift when we can bring other people to where we are and say to them, I might not have treated you like we were the same, but that was wrong. And today I want you to know that we can speak to each other like we are equal and beloved in the same way by God. Fathers, today you have the opportunity to be what your children always wanted you to be. Familiar, beloved. Children, how many of us are children? Probably all of us, right? You have the opportunity to be what God wants you to be. Beloved, precious, cared for. Men, you have the opportunity today to be what God calls you to be. Beloved, equal, cared for. Women, it's not your day-to-day, guys. We had our day. But still, you have the opportunity today to do that which God calls each person to be beloved, to be equal, and to know that even in your wilderness, that God has not given up on your promises, all of you, and never will. So we have the chance to do that with each other. Let us be people who never drive anyone into the wilderness. People who understand that our worst mistake, though, does not define us, and that God will never give up on our promises. And so we shouldn't give up on each other. Amen? Amen. We got great examples and role models right here in this room, and that makes me so happy, because when our kids are growing up, they can see and look toward toward the strong men and women that we have in our congregation, and we know that they're going to turn out okay. We have faith that they're going to turn out okay. Right? we got two here. And all the rest of us are kids too. Especially George. Someday he'll grow up. Well, we'll see that day sometime, George, maybe in lights. But until then, we love that we each are children, even when we're older. Let's join in offering our gifts. They're happily placed, germ-free, back in our offering plate, but we still lift them up even though they're back there. Lisa has some beautiful playing for us right now, and we have our familiar words to read through as she plays, but let us take a moment and pause and really give thanks to the blessing that God does give us in whatever form that is, whether it's our financial offering or all the other offerings that we give. Praise God that we are so blessed. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not used to standing in the same spot so much. It's really hard not to move. I have to keep smacking myself. But I have, we have to measure everything out, and I have an assigned area too. Because I'm speaking loudly, my assigned area is bigger than yours. So I want to come closer, but I can't. And isn't that the way it is sometimes? We want to come closer, but sometimes we can't. But that doesn't mean we can't show mercy and we can't love each other from where we're at. This has been a season of reminding us how to love each other where we're at. How to love people from afar, not just right next to each other. So let us be like Father Abraham, father to many, and learn how to love even from afar, which is something he had to learn to do once he made his probably biggest regret in this reading today. Let's not live with those regrets, though. Let's go make amends. And let's be what we're called to be, people of mercy, people who can show the world that even though we have authority, we know how to use it. And we use it the way God uses it, by never, ever denying a blessing. And so let us be blessed so that we can be a blessing. May the Lord bless and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord look upon you with favor and grant you peace, now and forevermore. Amen. Please wait as the ushers direct you out, and we are going to do